Near mint condition, the home of collected editions. And check out that eye, that's exactly what we want to see. Woo, look at that panel, baby. And that, as they say, is that. Hey, all you minties, Uncanny Omar here from Near Mint Condition, the home of collected editions. And today I'm going to give you my overview of the Letter 44 Compendium. This is the complete series from Image Comics. So let's go ahead and get started. And welcome back, everybody. Before going any further, a big thank you to Image Comics for sending us a copy of this compendium. This compendium is available everywhere in direct market and book market. So this is Letter 44, and here we have this cover of a rocket ship flying from behind the White House. Soule Alberquerque and Jackson right there, taking the top billing. The Image logo, Letter 44 Compendium, Soule Alberquerque and Jackson. And then the back of the book right here, what it collects, the ISBN, and a little bit about the story. The retail price of this is $59.99, and it is a soft cover. So we'll look at the binding in a little bit as we, I guess, after we look at the book and the extras, if there's any extras. So yes, that's what we're going to do now. Let's go ahead and open the book up and talk about the stories found in here. Okay, let's go ahead and get this compendium opened. There's your title page, Letter 44, Soule Alberquerque and Jackson. And this is written by Charles Soule, illustrated by Alberto Jiménez Alburquerque. But he is joined by just 5 other people: Joel Jones, Drew Moss, Ryan Kelly, Elise Gluskova, and Langdon Foss. And those are just for those particular chapters. And then over here, the colors like Guy Major, Dan Jackson, and Sarah Stern. And lettering by Sean Di Pasquale and Crank. So this here collects issues of Letter 44, 1 through 35. The book has a total of 856 pages and retails for $59.99. Now, at the time that this was coming out, I want to say that Charles Soule was working on his Daredevil book, if I'm not mistaken. So, the basic premise of this is about a brand new president, which is why it's called Letter 44. He's going to become the 44th president of the United States. And that is this gentleman right here, Stephen Blades, or Blades, I think, because he comes from Latino descent, so it might be Blades. But Blades sounds a lot more badass, which is the way I'm going to call him from now on, just in case. This was previously published by Oni Press, as I mentioned, in a series of trade paperbacks, and they also released this big hardcovers. There were 3 of those. I think there were just 3 of them. But what ends up happening in this book is that the letter that he gets from the former president of the United States, as you can see here, he's excited at first about coming into office, and then he reads the president. Apparently, it's tradition for the previous president to leave the newly elect president of the United States a letter to kind of welcome him in or welcome her in or them in. Like, it's just tradition. I'm not really sure when it started or if it's still going, but if you know in the comments, let me know, please. So, he reads a letter, and it starts off with this BS, like, you must think I'm a horrible president, and of course you do, and then he goes into a deeper and weirder sci-fi territory. So, as he's reading the letter, he's rolling his eyes, and he's like, yeah, this is crap, or right so far, you were a crappy president. And then he writes, the previous president writes, you all thought I was some kind of a-hole, putting the country's soldiers in harm's way in the Middle East, building up this big military, but what I wanted the U.S. to have was as many combat veteran soldiers as we could get. I wanted a reason to pump money into defense, and we needed that reason, because 7 years ago, NASA detected some sort of mining or construction operation in the asteroid belt. So Francis T. Carroll, the 43rd president of the United States, is letting Stephen Blades, the newly elected president, the 44th president of the United States, know that we have discovered perhaps alien life forms. We haven't made contact yet, because the other thing that he tells him is that 9 people, special forces, scientists, all climbed into a ship called the Clark, I assume named after Arthur C. Clarke, went up there, and they're on their way up there. They went, I think it was 3 years ago, and they're on their way to this particular asteroid belt to make contact with these aliens. So he doesn't know what to do with this. He just has to act like the president of the United States and just sit there and kind of take it all in. So in here you get to meet his first lady. First lady is one of my favorite characters of this whole thing. Isabel Blades. She's a badass herself with some of the decisions that she makes. As the comic continues, you're going to see that we're going to keep going back and forth. We'll see the political side of things, how he's handling it, and how some other people, like in his cabinet, knew about this and have to kind of keep it a secret. Like you meet Elijah here, who is the chief of staff for the Blades administration. And there's other people that he's like, should I trust them or not? And then we meet, of course, the 9 astronauts. He wants to have a sit down with them, get to know them, and he's like, why couldn't all 9 of them be there? And everybody's like, probably because they're all just kind of crammed together. We find out that one of them is pregnant, and what this could mean as they're heading to this asteroid belt that we don't really know much about. So it's not a mystery as to who gets her or who got her pregnant, who the father is, and they have developed in the last 3 years unique relationships that you wouldn't have here on Earth. And through here, you are going to meet these particular characters, and this is what they're heading to right now, which they're about to actually come in contact with. So you're going to meet Kyoko, you're going to meet Gabriel, and some of them are, like I said, are special ops. Charlotte and Alberto and Dawn and Manesh, just to name a few of these brave soldiers and brave scientists that are going up there to meet perhaps alien life forms. So that's what this big book is about. That's what this 35 issues is about. It's about this president, this newly elected president, trying to figure out what to do with this information and what to do with the military and who all knows about it. And is everybody that is heading up to this asteroid belt to meet these aliens, if I can assume they're, or you can only assume they're aliens, are they all good people, or is somebody in it for themselves? And are they working as a spy for another country? It's all about that kind of political espionage stories, but also like the scientific side of things, which makes it a really interesting story. I will be honest, when I first read this, I don't know what it was. It just didn't hook me. It didn't hook me as much as it hooked some of my friends, some of my viewers. I think rereading this all at one time, it really did help out. Reading all 35 issues, it's a pretty fast read. And I think I started it on a Saturday, but then I read some other stuff in between, and I ended it on a Monday. But I think it made for a better experience reading all of this. So the other thing is, there's a mystery as to, I didn't talk about this, but what ended up happening to ex-president Francis Carroll. Where has he been? He just kind of disappeared off the face of the earth. And is there somebody else? Is there like an opponent that's going up against Stephen Blades? And is he going to let the public know? Is he going to let the U.S. citizens know? And then what about the rest of the world? It's kind of decisions like that are you think about. And then, of course, the big question that I'm sure most of you are asking, are we going to see some freaking aliens in this? Absolutely you will. I promise you will. It's not one of those very vague stories about this mission and it ends with them getting there and putting a foot down and that's it. No, there's actual communication with aliens. The designs of the aliens are... Shoot, I don't know if I should show it or not. You know what? Here, I'll show you what some of the designs look like, because I think you need to know in case that's the hook for you. All right, so I did put a spoilers tag up just in case you don't care to know what the aliens look like. But yes, this is what it looks like. And are they in it for exploration? Are they scientists? Are they warmongers? Why are they on our asteroid belt? And are these 9 people going to survive this first contact? And what's going to happen to this baby? One of them is pregnant, right? You had Charlotte. And what's going to happen to the baby? It all comes together. It all is part of the story, and including Astra. who is the baby, by the way. And that's all I really want to say about it. You saw the designs of the aliens, you know the pitch of the story, and this is what the artwork looks like. And I want to say one of my viewers, it might have been my buddy BK Bullets, who left a comment years ago talking about Albuquerque's artwork, that it's like a mix of like Howard Porter, whoever, and I see it now, who I really enjoy, and somebody like, oh, who did he say? It was like a modern style mixed with Howard Porter, and I can kind of see that. By the way, BK Bullets has his own channel. Great overviews over there. And reviews of books. And yes, there are surprises, twists and turns. Who do you trust? Who do you not trust? Who do you tell about aliens? Who do you not tell about aliens? Does the Defense Department need to know about this? And that's why they've been building up the defense? Yeah, it's a lot of fun with a lot of sci-fi elements in here too. Now, all the way in the back, we actually have extras. You have the afterword. And looking back by Alberto Jiménez Alburquerque from 2025. So this was just printed. And then the cover to the Compendium here. And then other Charles Soule stories. One of the things I wanted to do before we end the video is compare it to the big edition here from Oni Press. And I noticed right away, even though they're not giving credit, additional colors are by Rochelle Rosenberg. I want to say, like, for the first... They have touched up the colors, the Image edition has. So you can see, like, Earth, for example. This is a minute little detail like this, but it's got that glow, like that planet glow, like the stars over here compared to over here, which just have a flat finish. Again, the paper stock over here, by the way, is a thick matte paper stock compared to the glossy paper stock. But yeah, the skin tones are different. The backgrounds are different. It's almost like they've kind of touched it up. And I'm not saying everything, but it does look like they've touched it up. The skin tones are definitely different. Even the nighttime. The skyline and the water right here. This background. Yeah, over here it's like a yellow tone to the whole thing. Over here everybody has a different skin tone. And then backgrounds are different. Looks a little bit more flashier, a little more vibrant with the skin tones too. And over here. Just to compare it really quick. Now let's look at that binding. 856 pages. It is glued binding. And it's printed in this glossy paper stock. It's not thick, but it gets the job done. Now, honestly, for a book that's 856 pages, there's a little bit of bleed through happening. And of course, the gutter loss because of the glued binding. The hinges do start coming open as most of these compendiums do. One of the most unique things about this collection, and I don't know if other people have noticed, is that the back has like this glossy finish to it. At least Blades does. And then it's a flat finish. While over here, I think the only glossy finish is this part right here, the actual logo. And the spine, that has a glossy finish. Compendium, Soule, Albuquerque, and Jackson, and Image. Oh, and no crease on the spine. So maybe it has to do with the flat finish. I'm not sure. But that's it. That, as they say, is that. If you're interested in purchasing this book, don't forget to check out our sponsor, cheapgraphicnovels.com, your online home for graphic novels and collected editions up to 50% off cover price. They have excellent shipping and prompt and helpful service. Check out their bargain deals for up to 90% off cover price. And don't forget that CGN also takes pre-orders. That way you don't miss out on the hottest releases. And they are currently running a special promotion for you Minties. If you're a first-time customer, after receiving your order confirmation email, reply back to that email and let them know Near Mint Condition sent you their way. They will then apply a free shipping promotional credit to your next order in the US. Cheap Graphic Novels, your source for the hottest books with the kind of deep discount, quality shipping, and customer service that will keep you coming back for more. And that was the content and page count and build of this compendium. In the comments down below, let me know if you've never heard of Letter 44, if this is your first time hearing about it, or if you're a big fan, or you had the original Oni Press Big Deluxe editions, or you've just been waiting to read it and could never find it in print. And now it's available all in one book. Any questions, leave them down below. Smash that like button on the way out. Stay healthy and safe out there. Much love.